Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Taste of Niger. I'm your host as usual, Faith Mbakwe. So today we are going to be making a very special meal. You'll be wondering, you're always saying everything is very special, but this meal is one of a kind. So we're going to be making asaro and peppered pomo. Wow, nice combo, right? This is the kind of meal that Esau sold his birthright for, I'm sure. So the ingredients for our yam pottage are yam, we have some salt, we have some grounded crayfish, seasoning cubes, some scotch bonnet, onions, tatashe or bell peppers, we have some pomo or cow skin. This is really nice. We have our dried catfish and some palm oil. Now we're going into the preparation proper. So for the preparation, I'm going to grab a chopping board, put water in a bowl, and cut my yams into small pieces. I'm going to cut it into tinier pieces. I like my yam pottage to be a bit tiny so that all the flavor from the yam can actually enter, all the flavor from the sauce can actually enter into the yam. So I don't like it to be in big chunks. So for this yam pottage, we will not be putting vegetable in it. We are making the typical Yoruba kind of asaro. So we are done cutting our yam and I've put it in a little water to prevent discoloration. Next, we're going to prep our peppers. So I'm going to start with my tatashe. Tatashe has some seeds that you do not want to consume. It's very bitter and sour, so you should try as much as possible to avoid these seeds. So I'm basically just prepping my peppers. quite fun. I'm going to put this away. And chop this into smaller pieces. I try as much as possible to assist the blender when I'm using a blender. I just chop it into smaller pieces to assist it in blending faster. So I know there are some ways of making yam pottage. Some people start boiling their yams first and then just add the other ingredients. I feel that method would not give the yam the option of or the ability to absorb all the juice in the sauce. So for me, I'm doing it the other way around. You may ask, what is the other way around? Just keep watching and I'll guide you through my process for making this yam pottage. So into the blender, I'm going to be putting 1 onion. That's because the other onion would serve for the peppered pomo. Then I'm going to be adding 3 scotch bonnet peppers. Add a little bit of water. Just a little water, and then I'm going to blend this. So we're done blending our peppers. Now we're just going to proceed with the cooking. So I'm going to use a clean big pot, medium size pot. Using this burner. So I'm going to dry my pot for a few minutes, just until it's thoroughly dry. Just a few minutes for it to be thoroughly dry. Okay, we still have a little bit of moisture in it. So now it's thoroughly dry. I'm going to add 2 spoonfuls of palm oil. While the palm oil is coming up and it's getting hot, I'm going to put the pepper mixture. Just add in the pepper mixture. It's a bit spicy, so I'm going to give it a fry. Remember, wastage is not allowed in Taste of Niger. So you try as much as possible to scoop out all the pepper from the blender. So this mixture would allow it to cook for about 5-10 minutes. or until the oil floats on top. Right now, if you can see, the oil is not on top, so we're just going to leave it for a few minutes for it to cook and for the oil to float on top. So now we've seen that oil has floated to the top of the pot. We're now going to add our yams, our pre-cut yams, into the bowl, or into the pepper mixture rather. One ingredient that I failed to mention in the beginning of this video was that we're going to be cooking with our pomo stock. So I've already pre-cooked the pomo and derived and gotten the stock from it. So I'm going to be using this stock to cook the yam pottage. So I'm going to pour it in. This will serve as the water or the base for the yam pottage. Add a little more because the stock was not enough. I don't want to make the yam pottage. I think this is fine. We're not going to add this. If, however, during the course of preparation I need more, I'll come back there. So I'm going to add my crayfish. Just add it. Our crayfish powder. That's about 2 tablespoonfuls. Then we're going to go in with some salt. Salt and then some bouillon cubes, my seasoning cubes. Crush it in. Then I'll leave this to cook on high heat. For about 12-15 minutes, then I'll come to check it. Do not go far when you're making the yam pottage this way because you need to constantly check it and just to make sure that everything is going on rightly. In the meantime, I'm going to rinse my dried catfish. I'll be using the middle, just a piece, and this is just for the seasoning or the garnishing of the yam pottage. I'm removing the dirty entrail just to make sure it is really wholesome. I'll set this aside. So while that is cooking there, I'm going to slice my pomo. So to slice our pomo, I'm just going to be placing it on a chopping board and cutting. It's been pre-cooked, but it's still a bit stretchy. It's soft but stretchy. I like my pomo not too tiny, not too large, just bite-sized pieces. cut it all up. I'm going to set it aside in a clean bowl. So for the peppered bommo sauce, I'm going to be using 1 onion and 2 scotch bonnets, but these would not be blended, they are rather going to be diced. So finely dice your onion, or slice it rather, finely slice your onion. This has been sliced. I'm going to set it aside in a plate. So I finely sliced my onion. I'm just going to set it aside as I chop up the scotch bonnet peppers. I'm using a smaller knife for the scotch bonnet peppers because I want it to be as thin as possible. Eat a lot of peppers. If you're not the pepper kind of person, 1 piece is enough. But if you're like me and you like your food to be really spicy, I'd advise you use 2 scotch bonnets. So I'll check my yam pottage again to see how it's coming up. The aroma everywhere in the kitchen. So inviting. Oh, this is really coming up well. So I'm just going to taste for salt. Tastes wonderful. Everything is just proportional. The peppers, the onion, the crayfish, the seasoning, everything just complements each other. Even it's a unique blend. The taste is just something I can't describe. You should come and try it out. So since that one is almost ready, since our yam pottage is almost ready, I'm just going to start prepping we're just going to start prepping the peppered pomo. Peppered pomo recipe is one you should not miss, so stay tuned as we walk through the process. So for the peppered pomo, we're going to I've put a little bit of groundnut oil in a pan, a saucepan. So I'm going to put the onion into it. It's already hot. Just going to put the onion. Put a little bit of salt. I like putting my onions and salt in the pot almost at the same time, because the salt helps the flavor or the fragrance from the onion to just come out quickly. I'm just going to saute this a little bit. So now I'm going to add my pomo already diced into this mixture. Next, I'm going to go into my yam porridge and mash a few pieces of yam. I'm just going to mash a few pieces of yam in this. I'm going to add my catfish and allow it to simmer for a few minutes. So this one isn't going to be scattered or flaked into it. If you notice, I haven't added seasoning in this. That's because it has already been seasoned. So I would like to add a little bit, about 1/3 of the seasoning cube. Since I've already put salt, I'm just going to put 1/3 of the seasoning cube into it. This is what I'm going to use to saute it. Peppered pomo and yam porridge is almost ready, so I'm just going to turn off the heat and leave this to sit a bit. This is so good. This is so good. This is so good. Permit me. This yam porridge recipe is the real deal. I'm just going to take a bite of the fish. It looks so nice. This is what the Bible says. And the Lord prepared a table before you, the presence of your enemies. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is a little bit of heaven. Look at that. This is the truth. Thank you very much for tuning in for today's episode on Taste of Niger. Stay tuned next time as we promise to bring to you another entertaining and educative session on Nigerian meals.